How's everybody doing? Now is the time to tear down emotional breakdown. Okay, I came up with an emotional breakdown. Let me see. I gotta keep that on there. So anyway, I came up with the idea while I was tearing it down. I did have another one that I wanted to do before I did this one, but it was so intense when I was tearing it down because I was doing the video on tearing it down because I wanted you to see how the whole process is, because it was such a physically, how can I say, I guess I can pretty much say a scientific way of tearing it down. And it was more like a process, like the reason why I called it like a breakdown, like emotional breakdown, because the only way I could like continually do it from beginning to end was to use all my experience that I had with doing all the things that I did. And I figured out ways to make it easier to tear down. The first part was easy because, like I said, it was like law and order, and I did everything so systematically that it was easy to tear the first part down, like the papers, and then tearing down the cardboard that I put on because everything was connected with strings. But then when I got to the part where it was like it's more like a how can I say, a system that I made in order to produce the law and order, which made it like really intense because I had it put on tape, and the strings, the way the strings was, I had to put a lot of tape on it, but it was very organized in squares. So I had to concentrate. I had to keep focused because, like I said, if your mind wanders while you're doing certain kind of art, you will never get it done, and it will also cause a lot of tension and make yourself like overwhelmed a lot. But I was able to do the whole process, and then while I was almost finished, I said, "This is like an emotional breakdown." And a lot of people go through emotional breakdowns, but they're able to handle it. It's difficult with emotional breakdowns and emotional breakdowns happen all the time, especially when you're in school and you have to do certain things and you have a lot of responsibility and you need to complete things. But most people are able to handle emotional breakdowns. What they do is systematically they recover from each task that they do. And sometimes they don't see the end. That's the weird part. And that's what I think brings down this breakdown, is that you don't see how things are, you don't see an ending, or it's hard to see a system, or you don't see something complete. But if you're used to it and everything's working all right as far as mentally is concerned, you pretty much can handle all the tasks and finish it and then feel relieved afterwards. So anyway, that's why I put this up here and called it emotional breakdown. Now we're going to take this down, and I'm going to talk about the next art piece. And this is not. If I could do the last one, this one will be like cheesecake. I guess I can say it. Vegan cheesecake. No, just an expression. So then this one is so easy to take down. This is an emotional breakdown. I'm glad I used it because it was just a neat idea. I really learned a lot from the last one as far as the technique of flash art, which is something that we created on my channel. And this one's pretty much easy. And the next one I'm going to talk about. So what did I learn from this one? I used to say what I've learned. What I learned from this one, I don't know what I can say. Oh, actually, I mean, I learned from this one. Okay, this one is like connected to the other one because I learned about this by taking it down. I realized that this process is so massive and it can be handled, it can be tackled. So that means I could do more difficult flash art. And that's what I learned from this one. Was that I learned that if you put things in order or you have a great system that you can work with, it will work, you know, and things will, you know, I might leave this for the next one, this border, because I don't have any black tape, and I need black tape. But I think I'm going to leave this one like this. Oh, wow. I took this off, and I forgot it was holding up something. Okay, so then I'm going to leave this black, and the next one is going to be on, the next one is going to be called Over and Over, okay? And basically, I may use the paper that I had before, but the only thing about it is that I wanted to, I don't know if I can use this over and over because I'm going to use this white paper or a different color paper to show over and over. So I may get colored paper, different colors paper or white paper, but the reason why I like the white paper is because it has a flexibility showing that something can be over and over again. So like for instance, like you turn the paper over, and I'm going to use that concept for over and over again. Over and over, it's already explained to you in my earlier YouTubes about this flash art, about how I come up with certain ideas, even in my music. And I'm not going to express it again, but it's in one of them to explain about why I have a very deep feeling or deep like for, phrases like that over and over. And it's because we take them for granted, but they're very important, especially when I do songs and stuff like that. Sometimes I need to know whether something something starts with the, or it's the, or that, or this, and it's very important in music. So I'm glad I have interest in things like that, like the little expressions that you take for granted, like over and over. And that's what it's going to be. But the concept I want to use is like over and over, because like this is over, like you turn it over, that's another one. And you keep turning it over, yes, but it's over and over. So it's not really important how I come up with the form of the art, because it may not be that, but I like to have a rendering or a feeling about over and over again. Sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with, this is not really, I'm having a problem with this one, but I'm going to fix it. I had a black tape, let me see. But I might use this blue, because this one is kind of getting on my nerves. Okay. Maybe I'll do something like this, okay? But if I put it there, I have to put it on all of the corners to keep it kind of even conceptually, okay? So anyway, I got that done. So going back to the over and over again, this is an idea, but I don't know if it's going to hold up, because what I want to do is have me see. What I want to do is have this like this. Let me show you. I could either like put something like this. It's got to be over, okay? And I was thinking something like this, okay? But it has to stay in the realm of the rectangle, okay? And something like this, and that's that over, okay? Over. And then kind of concept like that. And then in my mind it was more like this, but that's not going to do the over. But I noticed if I go like this or something like that, it shows the over and over, okay? So it could be like this, or something like that, okay? Or something like this. That has like this, okay? So that looks good too. And like I said, let me just put this one up and then I'll talk to you about this. Let me see how that looks. See if that's straight. Let's see how that looks. See, like if I put it there, and then if I go further down, it goes like that. So that's cute too. Like if I put it up here, and then it goes down like that, that's cute too, okay? Or I could put a half sheet, like right there, and that'll go too. But it seems like this looks better. This, like right there, okay? So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say something too about being exact and not exact. Okay, see, like that looks good, but I want to bring it up just a little bit more. Something like that. Okay, so that's good. Now so if you see that looks good. Now, there's something I want to stress. I might not keep this color. Maybe I'll do different colors. But I want to stress this. You don't want to measure the thing. Sometimes in art, as far as flash art is concerned, they end up measuring a lot of things, but I don't want to measure because you lose something. Okay? You lose something in the art and you lose something in learning because there's still yet so many things that we can learn. And if you use measurement, like I even have not a problem with measurement, but in my American yoga, everything is measured naturally, and we don't use numbers. A concept of measurements are not numbers. A measurement is not numbers. And I'll just tell you a brief story of, everything I've done has been really thought out for years, decades. I can say decades. But the world runs on things, but there's still things that have to be corrected, okay? Like, for instance, the measurement, American measurement, okay? Usually you use an American, the foot, the cup, and things like that, the ounce and things like that. There was a point to where I was saying, oh, that's not really exact because they had the metric. But the metric is not really, now I'm geared more to the fact that the American measurement is a little bit more precise and exact because when you measure something metrically, you're actually learning more about the metric system. It's metric, okay? So you keep measuring things metrically, everything is metrics, okay? But if you measure something like with foot that doesn't really, exist, it didn't start. It's like a concept, the foot, because everybody's foot is different. that you still have a concept of a foot, okay? That is made, and then you take that measurement and you make other measurements from it. The reason why it's good, because you're not relying on something, you're not relying all your measurements on something that's made up, okay? So you get a more of a artistic, or you can learn more from it, because the measurements are not like fixed, okay? In the metric, everything is like fixed, okay? Because of this, then this, and then because of this is this, because of this is this, and everything stays like metric, okay? Now, with the foot, and then you have a cup, and then you have ounces, and all of these are like concepts that are working together, and it makes ideas a little bit more abstract, which an idea is pretty much very beautiful if it's abstract. So anyway, that's just my thinking. So I go a little bit further, and I state that everything is a measurement that we do, but we don't realize it. Everybody has their own measurements, and you can perfect a lot of things by learning your own measurement. So instead of having a certain measurement that everybody has to go by, which is good for communication, you as an individual can learn about, you have to learn, and you do it subconsciously, you learn about your measurements, but you don't think about it. Like, for instance, my finger, okay? My finger has my measurements. My movements have my measurements, and we learn this in American yoga. And if you want to go further with that, you can start from the beginning. You really have to start from the beginning. It's kind of difficult, but everything is given to you. And if you can go through I don't know, maybe I call it not really torture, but it's a discipline of finding the first dance without music and learn from step to step. It's all free. Now, it's free. That's the only thing I'm going to say. So now we understand about the measurement. That's why I'm telling you that try and do things artistically measured, because you learn more. You can even find something. You could go, wow, nobody knows this. Let me incorporate this. And you can learn things. It's like learning in a cave, okay? So that's why I don't use measurements, and I just observe, how this works. And now, from the last project, I learned more about flash art and its physical rules, rules of physics. And that's what I'm going by now. Before, in flash art, the first thing that we learned was you have to make up rules. But now I'm incorporating in the rules of the medium. And because I have to use tape, that's a rule of the medium, okay? So now we have rules that we make and rules of the medium. Now this is the rules of the physics of flash art. Now how I want to incorporate, because I want this right here. If I say I want to put a tape further up, because I want it that way, then that's my rule, okay? And if I do it that way, I want it to be all of them like that. So I want it to go up maybe just a little bit more, okay? Okay, so that's my rule of it over and over. And I don't want to fold it or anything like that. I think it's going to stay like that. And that's it. And maybe like for this one, okay, so like this one, we know that this is here. I don't want to, I was thinking see, like, I gotta keep it that it's there on the corner. Okay, but see, that's not gonna work. It doesn't have any artistic ability. It doesn't have any artistic meaning, okay? So, because this is like this, maybe this should go like this. Another thing too is with flash art, it's a different logic, okay? I know I can't do, I've tried, I don't really care about, but they have these IQ tests. If this is this way, this is this way, this is this way, this number, but still and yet, with my concepts, there's no numbers. Numbers don't exist. It's all in my things. The reason why I say numbers don't exist, because we use numbers for communication, but a number is a symbol, and I went through this for decades and decades. But my concept of numbers opens up a new room of understanding, okay? Because like this paper, yes, I can measure it and say this is 8.5 by 11 or whatever. But look at it. It's still from here to here, okay? It's from here to here, and I see that. But my mind is not saying 8.5 to 11. There's no connection. So what I do is I look for what this is without the numbers, if you understand what I'm saying. So now the only thing I'm going to do now is that if I got it here, like for instance, if I got this here, I'm not going to say I'm going to put this here because I got that one there. I don't, this is not like that, okay? So I'm saying I got it here. I can, I got to think about another way of putting it here, okay? So I don't know exactly. But what I was thinking is if I got this here, okay, I don't want to do that. Maybe I'll turn it and put it like this, you know what I mean? But that's not going to work either, because, and we're dealing with physics here. And that's what I like about it the most, is that we're dealing with physics of the medium of, and like, watch this, okay? So like, I'm doing this, I'm going to show you something. Okay, I'm doing this and watch this, okay? See that? And I want to keep it in, I want to keep it in the square, not totally in the square, but you see how I can work with that? Or else I could even do this. You see that? Watch this. And I got the air conditioning coming on. So it's got to work with the air conditioning too, you see? I'm going to go like this. Watch this. See? Okay? So it could be like this, any kind of way. Just as long as it could go over there, but it has to still show that square, sort of, okay? So now you can see how we're going along with this over and over. And that's the next YouTube. And that's the next one. And what I'm saying is the next one is going to be, you're going to see the whole thing done. So I hope you come back and look at the finished project of Animar 115 over and over. Thank you. Bye-bye.